some things that I may miss. But Bila Kuta was ordained, if you will, by our presiding bishop, Jeramogi Menali Kimathi, about 6-7 months ago. And what happened was the pandemic kind of pushed us in a space that we were moving into, but we were going kicking and screaming. But the pandemic moved us into the virtual space with a rush of a mighty wind, if you will. And so Jeramogi Menali Kimathi felt that it was needed to have an additional arm, additional piece, because we probably would not be going back to just in-person service or physical service. And so we were in the virtual space, and that's where we were going to stay. And he wanted to make sure that we had a platform and expertise in that area. Now, I would say over the last 6 months, what we've done is tried to put together a framework that will facilitate people who are not in the geographical centers that we currently have, the 5 geographical centers that we have, which is Detroit, Houston, Atlanta, Beulah land, and the shrines on the motherland in Liberia. So Shrine Bila Kuta was, Bila Kuta is Kiswahili for no walls. And so our object is to open up the shrine for people who cannot come to service and worship with us on a weekly basis. Those in Denver, those in Italy, those in Spain, those around the world who still want to know something about the Shrine of the Black Madonna. We want to allow them to have the opportunity to be part of this movement. Scripture says, go ye into the world, into all creation, and preach the good news. And that's what we're all about. We, from the beginning at the Shrine, have been expanding our ministry. Jeramogi Bebe said we need to be in every enclave where Black people are. And we're still striving to do that. We're still striving to reach Black people because they need to hear our message. The message of self-determination, the message of liberation, the same message that Jesus spoke of in 2,000 years ago. And so that's what we're doing today. Shrine Bila Kuta is the next movement of the Shrine of the Black Madonna, the Pan-African Orthodox Christian Church. It's the next movement. It's the next platform. And we're grasping it by the tail. We're grasping it. We're not going to let it go. We're here to stay.
All right, amen. And so, Sister Ashanti, so what is your role in Shrine Bila Kuta?
So I am, of course, a member of the Shrine, and I joined via during the pandemic, and I was the first to come through online orientation, if you will. And so joining Bila Kuta was just like a natural evolution in that process for me. It keeps me engaged in the church, allows me to provide service, and enriches my experience as well. And so, you know, we're, as the Reverend said, we're trying to reclaim those whom we've lost because they've moved outside of our traditional cities, but we're also opening the doors to those who may not know about the Shrine or have heard about the Shrine, know its rich histories, and want to join us.
Okay, all right. And I'm really curious to hear from Reverend Karima, because you are the person that has been pushing us and pulling us for years and years and years to get online, to get into this virtual space. And so, number one, what is your role with Shrine Bila Kuta? And number two, you've got to feel some level of pride to see this ministry introduced. Oh my gosh.
Now.
Oh, there we go.
I can't hear you. Just 1 second. Hold on. We're going to make this work. Okay, here we go. You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. Now you have to repeat the question.
So it was a two-part question. Number one, what is your role with this particular ministry? And number two, how does it make you feel to see the growth of the shrine in this virtual space?
Well, to answer your first question, I'm not sure what my role is other than to serve. I came to Bila Kuta to try to fit in wherever I can, however I can help. Because as you said, I do have a great sense of pride with respect to our movement in the virtual space. You know, I know, many others know, it took us years to get some momentum around the notion of the virtual village, which was a kind of concept and ideal you and I both coined back some 12, 14 years ago. We talked about the virtual space and what it could do and the reach that we could have. And, you know, over time, that's proven to be very true. And I think our members, our leadership can see it, especially as a result of COVID, right? There were so many churches and organizations during COVID that didn't make it, right? There was, you know, smaller churches or what have you. The larger churches, they most of them fared okay, but the smaller and mid-sized churches, some of them didn't make it. But we fortunately had the infrastructure in place. However minimal, it was enough to allow our church to make it through the pandemic when many others didn't. And so, yes, I actually prayed for a measure of success for the virtual village and the use of technology to expand our reach, because that is one of the phrases that we used to say all the time. I don't remember at what point we said it, but we talked about taking BCN all over the world. If the virtual village is not a vehicle to take BCN all over the world, I don't know what is. It's low-hanging fruit. And so I'm just happy to see that it has, Bila Kuta has been given some priority. That's important. And I think with when we get the word out and with the grand opening and all of that, we're going to get some momentum around it. And it'll just be marvelous to be able to practice some of the things that you know, you and I know made a difference in our lives, and be able to do that virtually and help other people. So yeah, I'm real proud.
Broadcasting BCN on the frequency of freedom. Lord have mercy. BCN, Black Christian Nationalism.
Yes.
Man, who came up with that phrase? But anyway, Pastor Ambadwile,
Yes.
You said, and all three of you really have mentioned the importance of sharing the theology, the message, the program of the Shrines of the Black Madonna. From your perspective, what is it about that program that is so it's so critical that it's shared with Black folk all over the world?
Well, the objective, we know that Christianity has been tainted. It was given to Black people, regurgitated, and we bought it lock, stock, and barrel. And for the most part, most churches today still use the same theology, and still view the idols and the symbols the same way as it was given to them by the very people who were oppressing us. And so we understand in the Shrine that there was a history long before the Europeans came into Africa and took us. And that history is our history. We need to know who we are. And until we do that, until we understand that, till we understand our identity and where our history is, we can't move any further. So BCN teaches us, and Best Self Theology teaches us, that our identity is an African identity. Our history is an African history. Our education is an African education. We built the pyramids, we built the medicine, we built astronomy, we did all of that. And so BCN has been teaching this from its inception, almost 69 years now, since Reverend Clegg had the conception of putting together the Shrines of the Black Madonna. And so in every place that we've gone to, we've touched Black people, but we're not satisfied with that. And so we need to be out allowing other folk to have the same access as we that the people on this particular call have had, and those who are in our midst in terms of being in our geographical centers. And so we want to allow that to get out. We want to open the box so everybody can have a piece of this, can understand it. We live in an age of technology. People are hearing it, but they don't have a program or something that's organized for them to be a part of. This is the place. So I hope that answers some of the questions you were asking there, but that's where we're trying to go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it does. And Sister Ashanti, what excites you most about this new chapter of Shrine of the Black Madonna Ministry, Bila Kuta?
I think what excites me is the expansion, is that we are making efforts to get the word out, not using the same tools, but in the same way that I've read about in the books, right? That I've read about in the Black Christian Nationalist book, that I've read about the Shrine and the efforts of the Honorable Jeramogi Bebe Ajamin back in the 60s and the 70s. There was a collective of people in the Shrine, and the power that was demonstrated, I think leaves me in awe. And it's a history that I wish more people know, that the Mother Shrine that sits there on Linwood and Hogarth is a powerful place, has powerful people in it to this day. I think, it's that knowledge is missing. And so that's what I'm most excited about, is for people to remember who they are. Coming to this place helps you remember who you are. It helps you become your best self by knowing that you do come from greatness, and that because you do, you have something valuable to give. You can serve your people with that value that you bring to the table. And that's ultimately what the message is about. That's what I've gleaned from my time in the Shrine. And that's what I'm most excited for people to get when they join us in this movement. Reverend Ambadwile sent us a post this week about, and the title was, "What can Black people do when they unite?" Right? And this church has a lot of rich history, a lot of examples of what can be done when we're united. And so, just that excites me alone, just that level of energy, and being around people who feel that vibration of wanting to change the world, wanting to uplift our people, wanting to scream Black power, as they did back in the day. That's the thing that gets me going and makes me want to be a part of Bila Kuta and to serve in any way that I can.
Yeah, thank you. And Reverend Karima, when you allow yourself to dream or envision the Shrines ministry, and this ministry in particular, down the road, a few years from now, what excites you about that? And what are some of those possibilities? What are some of the doors that can open up for us?
Just first of all, just being able to touch people who are seeking what we have to offer, right? And some people are looking for us and don't know it, right? They don't know that they're looking for what we have. I often say that what we've learned and what we've been exposed to in the Shrine is like a secret sauce, right? You have to go through it to really know it. And like Ashanti said, just being excited, thinking about the possibilities, and is just something that I'm excited that other people who are seeking may have the opportunity to experience the secret sauce. And I don't mean to sound, flippant about it, but it's just having just understanding my relationship with God, and understanding from the perspective of the Shrine, and the fact that just being aware of the inner divinity that I possess, that gives me the power to do things that maybe I didn't think I could do, is pretty exciting, to be able to expose other people to that notion, right? To empower, right? To help other people, help others find a spirit of self-determination, to become aware that the universe, God, Jehovah, the Lord, gives us everything we need to do what we need to do, especially when we are unified, right? And that truly, the experience coming through the shrine does make you aware of the power that exists in unity. And there are other places where that happens. I'm not saying it doesn't happen anywhere else, but my experience in the shrine has been that true power comes from the group, right? And when the group is on one accord, it's nothing like it, nothing like it.
Lord have mercy.
And
Lord have
I
mercy.
I hope that the work of the Bila Kuta will outreach and bring others into that experience firsthand.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, and I'm going to bring it over to Pastor Ambadwile. So we've been talking about a new ministry in the shrine, the Shrines of the Black Madonna. So does that mean that you have to be a member to participate? Help me out.
No, not at all. We want you to participate by coming and seeing, and if the Spirit moves you to be a member or be a part of the movement, then so be it. But we offer stuff and offer knowledge and offer our service to everyone, right? Especially the Pan-African world, because that's who we're trying to reach. We are a Pan-African Orthodox Christian church. And so you don't necessarily have to be a member to come to like this. This is one of our platforms, right? Conscious Conversations, Woke Wednesday. But there is a program that, if you'd like to be a part of it, there is a process that you have to go through in terms of new members and confirmation and being a part of the shrine. This is what Sister Ashanti was mentioning, and that's how she came through. What I want to say also is, and I'm encouraged because what I heard so far, and I'm excited also, but people are still excited. If people weren't excited, then we're not doing our job because we're not supplying what they need. But I'm encouraged because just like Ashanti said, she was excited because we were still here. We were still doing what we've been doing. And I think that's what Bila Kuta wants to do on a worldwide basis. Allow people to be excited about what we have and to tell the truth and to move as a people towards achieving some things that will help us to throw off the oppression that we've been experienced for the last 400 years and more.
And with that being said, so what are some of the things that someone who tunes in can expect to see, can expect to be a part of? And even before that, where do they go to actually access this ministry? And this is for anybody.
Yeah, so we're going to have a grand opening next during our anniversary month, October 26th. It's going to be at 7:00 on Zoom, and that information will be publicized. Karima could probably speak to that more directly, but I'm just giving you the dates. And what we plan on doing now is we're going to do this just like we did in the other expansion. We have the shrine is based on groups. And so this is just another expansion cadre, if you will. And we're in the process of banging this thing together, of molding this clay into something that will be acceptable and powerful for people to be a part of. So it's on the job training to a certain degree, but I have some seasoned saints who know what to do. And so we're going to work this thing until we find out which way to go.
And I think directionally, because it is the group process, more for me, it's a place to be supported in your Blackness. It's a place to share ideas about how to move our people forward. It's a place to be spiritual and to be supported in a spiritual practice, right? And so while we haven't necessarily charted out events that will take place, that is the foundation of the group. That is the purpose of the group. It's how do we come together and support one another as we support our people.
Why
And
is that so important? Just that support, anyone?
Because otherwise you feel like you're alone on an island. If you're a Pan-Africanist, you already, think a little different. You vibrate a little higher maybe than those who are not thinking about Blackness globally, Blackness in whole, and how we affect the world and not just the communities that we live in. And so when you go into spaces with that, and especially if you're, a person who's outwardly expressing your Blackness, it can be isolating. And so having a place like the shrine, Bila Kuta, is comforting, because you get to have those conversations about communalism, about how the economy is affecting the Black people. You get to be a part of groups that are out, like the Black Slate, who are out doing the work to make sure locally that we're supporting Black people in the ways that we can. And so there's opportunity to do so much in the space of the shrine. And Bila Kuta is just another way for us to open our doors so people can join us in these efforts.
And I'd like to just kind of piggyback on that with respect to offerings that we have now in the virtual space. We do have offerings, programming, if you will, in the virtual space. We have online Sunday experience every Sunday, where we have a message from one of our pastors in one of our shrines every Sunday at 11:30 Eastern. We also
is it Pastor Amajuile preaching every week? Because he's preaching now. I mean, he can't even speak without sounding like he's giving a sermon. So it must be him preaching every week. It must be him preaching every week.
He's coming to you this week for sure. But and we have Woke Wednesdays, which has turned into it started out to be an educational vehicle, and it's kind of turned into an internal. Anyone is welcome, but it's really turned into an internal kind of spiritual experience, as Ashanti was mentioning, with members from various cities. We have members from Atlanta, members from Detroit and Houston on that call every Wednesday. But it's turned into just a wonderful, awesome spiritual experience most Wednesdays, and that's led by Pastor Aswad. And on Fridays, Pastor Aswad does Conscious Conversations, where he invites people from the community, the Black and Brown community, to come and share their insights and talk about the things that affect Black people and how they can work together to resolve them. So we have things in place right now in the virtual space. And so anyone who is interested in being a part of Bila Kuta or seeing what it's all about is welcome to join us in any of those offerings that we have right now.
Do they need to contact somebody, send phone number, email in order to access this, or what if someone's hearing this, what do they need to do to get plugged in?
So we don't, unfortunately, we don't have anything streaming at the bottom of the screen, but we have a link tree. The link tree is Linktree SOBM, Shrine of the Black Madonna. On that link tree, you can go there to find out the events and activities that occurred during the week. That you can find the online Sunday streaming there. You can also find a button that says Join the Shrine. You click the button, doesn't mean you join the shrine. It will just allow individuals who are interested to enter their information, their name, phone number, email, and they will be contacted by one of the ministers in the church. And so that's how someone would get in touch with us. And
that's a website, Linktree,
it's
and it's all one word, Linktree SOBM.
It's linktr.ee/SOBM. So if
I'm typing it right now.
Okay.
So forward slash goes like this or like this. I don't know. Help me out. Which one is forward slash?
Go backslash. Go backslash. That one. Go to backslash.
Okay.
Go backslash. If that one doesn't work, go the other way.
You know what?
You putting her on the spot.
I am.
That's
I am.
why you do that. I wanted to go back a bit because you asked about the support piece, and Ashanti hit right on it.
Hold on before you say that. And that's .com or
No,
Karima? It's
no,
just
not,
as is. Just as
yeah,
okay.
it's
I'm
linked.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Pastor. You were saying?
No, I want to make sure that we get that information out first. Karima, were you finished giving that?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
For
so
now.
when you talked about support, and Ashanti talked about communalism, that is basically what African people built societies and civilizations on, was communalism. And so that's really what we embrace here at the Shrine. We understand that individualism is a disease that has been brought and given to us by those who tried to separate us. And so if we come together in communalism and support one another, the pandemic has showed us what kind of illness will come about when you isolate yourself. So we were so glad to come back together again. And so the virtual space really kind of grew out of this need for us to be together for this fellowship. And I think it's just a testament to the power of coming together and communalism, because we work and move better when we're supporting one another.
So, Pastor, you just said that individualism is this great sin, this great evil. So you're telling me I can't bring my own individuality to the table. I have to just
you can. We want you to bring your gifts, your individuality, your personality. But individualism, the ism of thinking that you are all that in a bag of chips, is not where we're going. We have to understand that we have gifts and we can bring them to the table for the greater good. And that's really what it's about. It's not about I, me, it's about us, we. And so the further the group goes, the better I'm going to be. That's the idea. That's the concept.
And you know, as I was dropping off my youngest child at school this morning, I was listening to the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. Roland Martin was on, and he was talking about the fact that he owns a media outlet and he doesn't have to answer to anyone. And he's talked about how powerful that is. But he also, I can't remember which great in our history he quoted, but whoever it was, it said that, you know, the Black church, Black sororities and frats and other organizations, they have the power organizationally, institutionally, to move us forward, but everyone is in their own, in their individual silos. And so when you say Bila Kuta, you know, without walls, I'm thinking, wow, this is a way to break down those silos so we can all come together. Am I often thinking that? Anyone?
You're right. We're breaking down walls so that we can reach other folk and other folk can reach us, because we've been in four walls for the longest time, and that's where most of our organizations and churches are, behind four walls. We're trying to open that up, and so the idea is to let people reach us. Why are we so secret about what we have? We want to make it available to people. Now, your point in terms of sororities, and we don't want to break down their walls if they don't want to, you know, they need to be broken down so they can be reached and understand what we're saying. But we know what we offer. And that's, I think once they get the concept, they'll understand that we all need to be together, cooperating, building something for everyone. And it's much like the Ubuntu theory. I am because we are. We are because I am.
Yeah, and I want to hear from Sister Ashanti, because you said that it was this kind of virtual space that brought you into the fellowship. And you know, there's nothing like being in person, but what are some of the things that you can get out of, you know, just this virtual community?
So believe it or not, you can you connect with people, and you from different places. Like I got to the group that I came in with, we're still together because we enjoy each other that much. We still join the call every Sunday morning. And, you know, we hail from Detroit, from New York, some from Houston, some from Atlanta. And so it allows you to meet people in your church, because let's not forget to mention how large the shrine actually is, right? Like we're not just in Detroit, we're in Houston, we're in South Carolina or North Carolina?
South
South
Carolina.
Carolina.
South Carolina, right? We're in Atlanta. And so we're this huge congregation, and the online service allows me to interact with those people, to get to know them, to fellowship with them is the word that I'm looking for. And the conversations that happen, they're just beautiful. They're mind expanding, and they're not all, we all saying the same thing to just agree and get along. No, we're having spirited debates, which enriches the friendship, and so and sometimes we get a little too out of hand, and we have to bring it back. We don't even get to the intended lesson for the day, but that's how it goes sometimes, because we like each other so much, and we've come to enjoy being around each other so much. It's no different than me going over to my aunt's house and sitting down and having a spirited debate. So the online space has been, I think, tremendous for me, and just bringing a larger space to the shrine, right? So it's not just people in Detroit that I'm in contact with. I get to know Brother Oswald and all his accomplishments, and learn from you, and you know what I mean? And so it's a beautiful tool.
Yeah. And so when you hear that, Reverend Karima, how does that make you feel? I mean, you're the one that was captaining this whole ship, the whole virtual village space.
Oh my God, it makes me so happy. Ashanti is the virtual village ambassador. Yeah. It is. It really does. It's just wonderful to, as I said, to see that just presence in the virtual space has been prioritized in the minds of leadership, and we're working on the minds of members. Sometimes people, there's what I want to make clear is that the virtual space does not replace face-to-face. There is nothing that can replace the physical face-to-face contact that we make, that human beings need. However, there is a world to be gained in the virtual space. There's just tons of opportunity in the virtual space that's totally untapped. And that is what I advocate for, is to go out there and tap into that virtual space. And that's what I see that we're doing. And we'll have to, in some cases where we have some of our veteran seasoned members, we'll have to, give them assistance in terms of helping them along as we move through different areas of the virtual space, because we're talking about Bila, but we're not leaving anybody out, right? So we want to make sure that everybody who wants to come along can get on and go for the ride.
Yeah. And I just want to amen something. I think it was Sister Shanti said when you were talking about how like at the virtual worship service, and afterwards, in what we call our coffee hour, our fellowship hour, we're sitting there communicating with and fellowshipping with sisters and brothers from all over, from literally all over. And I mean, I just remember one particular time I was just thinking how beautiful this is, because back in the day, you would have to be physically in Detroit to communicate with folk in Detroit. But through the pandemic, I mean, as horrible as it was, that was one of the blessings, right? It allowed us to really, really grow and expand our network of people, not only that we know, but that we literally love and that we work with and that we fellowship on a regular basis. And so I'm looking forward to more of this from Shrine Bila Kuta, Pastor.
And you're going to see more. That's the plan. We're gearing ourselves up to be available, to have access to the Pan-African Orthodox Christian Church We have a member that's in, well, someone who has gone through the new members class and confirmation all the way in Belgium. And it's opening doors in terms of spirituality and her providing different outlets. She's actually from, I think, the Congo initially, but she stays in Belgium. But she has a wide range of spirituality information, and it goes along with our thinking. But again, until you put it into a program, but I think those are the conversations we need to have, and so that's what we're trying to do. There are people all over the world saying some of the same things we're saying, but they don't have a program, and so we're about having a program and putting it to use so that we move Black people forward. So yeah, we hope to have more and more content, more access in the virtual space so that people can find us.
All right, all right. So any last words before we get out of here? And please, someone give us that grand opening date once again.
The date is October 26th. That's a Wednesday. It'll be during if people are familiar with Woke Wednesdays, it's during that time period. And I believe the ID is the same. Karima, do you know what that is? Okay.
No, I don't know it off the top of my head, but we, as you said, we will publicize that information.
Yeah, so October 26th, during our anniversary month, 69 years of Christian service. And so we're going to be celebrating all month. But that last Wednesday, Bila Kuta is going to have a grand opening.
All right, all right. I will be there. Any final words, anyone else before we get out of here?
I want to thank those who are here. I want to say thank yourself also, Pastor Squad, for allowing us to have this opportunity, because we're just here to serve.
No thanks needed, brother. No thanks needed. Okay, well, I want to thank you all for giving up your time on a Friday evening when you could have been doing a whole lot of other things. And you know, Amadule surely would be preaching somewhere else if he wasn't here. Every time he speaks, he's preaching, man, I swear. And it's a good sermon too. But again, thank you all. And for those of you who are watching live, or for those of you who catch this a little later, we really appreciate you giving us your time, and prayerfully you were able to glean something that is going to help you in your faith walk move closer to becoming your best self. And so as we part, I leave you with the word Amanla, which means power. Let us all move in power closer to becoming all the Creator meant us to be. Amen.
Amanla.
Amen.
Amanla.
All right, y'all. Amanla, that's right. Y'all have a beautiful day, beautiful evening. God bless.